Claude Racine. Wow. She gives me so much energy. What a story. What a story. So she started off as a dancer in her 20s, noticing, some things happened. She started, at 26, she noticed she just gained a little bit of weight. She eventually became a mother and she went right into this post depression, part of depression. She was diagnosed with a terrible autoimmune Hashimoto's, and she was in a bad suicidal depressive state for a year, and a terrible spot with her husband and her newborn, and didn't want to do the things that she was doing. She just rose completely out of it. The pandemic hit, and she just started selling cosmetics because she needed a purpose, and now she trains people on nutrition, on exercising. She has turned everything around. She helps women specifically with that. And wait till you feel her energy. The big thing with nutrition, when she was diagnosed, of course, she can't have any gluten. No sugar, no seed oil, no soy, no alcohol, completely turned her around. And wait till you hear her no nonsense, direct attitude towards health, nutrition, sleep. It's so refreshing and direct. Claude Racine, an inspiration. Thanks for listening. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz. People ask me, how did I lose 130 pounds? The quick answer is always discipline. I started my business, wasn't paying attention to my health, was eating too much, drinking too much sweets. My daughter was born. Next thing I know, I'm pre-diabetic. I have hypertension. I knew something had to change. Discipline. I, like many of you, have faced many challenges in your career, in your family, in your life, in your faith. How did you attack them? How did you approach them? How did you solve them, hopefully? It all had to have some degree of discipline. I'm also asked, how did you found and start a tech business that lasted over 25 years? Discipline. I was committed to it, enjoyed technology, didn't enjoy some aspects of it, but knew it was necessary. Discipline. Our podcast mission, how do we use discipline to better ourselves and society? Join me, please, as I talk to interesting people and discuss how they use discipline in their family and their passion and their careers and how it helped them. Our podcast vision, growth through learning from others. Joey Pinz Disciple Conversations. It'll be light and serious. Join us, please. Thank you for consideration. And Claude Racine, thank you so much for your time today. I'm very, very excited to talk to you. So why serve women?
Why serve women?
Yes.
Well, as I got older and started experiencing women problems, and started realizing how little we know about our own bodies and how little resources there are to actually help us, I felt it was my duty I became obsessed with like the female body and our hormones and the system and how to make sure that we age well and have a functioning fucking endocrine system.
There's a great video with your husband where he's dressed as a woman and doesn't want to get up. And you're like, you've got a fucking vagina. Get up.
Like, dude, I don't think like women do not understand the power we have. Like,
Yes.
Literally, we carry life.
Yes, you
Like,
do.
we are the portal of life to earth. Like, are you kidding? And you can't get up in the morning and go get a workout in and choose foods that your body loves. You can't say no to wine. But you pushed a baby out your vagina? Come on. Come on. No. I don't buy it.
You certainly don't. You're a dancer.
Yeah.
And then you get to about 26 or so and you realize that you can't eat the
38.
fast. Well, first you realize you can't eat the food that you want to eat and you start adding a little weight, right?
Yeah, about 26, 28 that started happening. Yeah.
And then we find ourselves in 2020, you have a baby and you have you get diagnosed and you kind of come crashing down.
Yeah. Like my life was very fun. I was lucky. I followed my dreams. I moved to LA and like lived a very exciting life. I was always in shape and could eat whatever I want. And then I had my baby and everything just came crashing down, like you said.
Mm.
Yeah.
And you got diagnosed with Hashimoto's. Didn't get out of bed. It was you didn't want to wait every 2 hours feed your baby, but you felt obligated, obviously, as a mother.
I mean, that's the thing is I had no choice. It didn't fucking matter how I felt. It didn't matter if
Right.
I had postpartum depression and anxiety, like for no reason, just anxious all day, like worried, not even about my baby because babies they thrive. They are
Right.
born and their whole job is survive. So as long as I'm feeding him, he's good. And he's not like whatever left unattended. Like I knew Nova was crushing it. It was me who was not crushing it. And I was worried constantly about did I make a mistake? I want my old life back. I want my freedom back, my space back. And I just constantly was living in the past and then in the future too, like worried how I had, let's, for a lack of better way to say it, fucked up my life.
Mm.
And then you've got the guilt and the shame of people who are like, how could you say that? You're like about your baby, like you're not in love with him. No, I am not in love with what's happening. But you don't have a choice. I had to get up and I had to feed him and I had to be there for him. I brought him here,
Mm.
but it was a constant battle of like wanting to take myself out and then talking myself out of it.
Yeah, I mean, you describe yourself as for a year or so as suicidal, depressed. You also talk about how you just couldn't do simple things with your husband, right? You couldn't kind of cuddle with him because the baby was there, and you missed that kind of intimacy. You were afraid of him just leaving, going to work.
Yeah, I mean, I'll never forget the first time I got to like take a nap with my husband by myself. My mom
Mm.
had taken Nova and she was like, go in there and go take a nap with Noah. And I was like, okay. And I remember like cuddling with him and just crying and being like, what did I just do to my life? Like, I
Mm.
want these moments back with my husband. And because I'd never done this before, it felt like this was just going to be forever my new life.
And you get diagnosed with Hashimoto's, right? Right, it's fighting against your own system,
Yeah.
and you're living with it. And then you describe meeting this person with the most perfect little ass, and she tells you to, she tells you to get your stool diagnosed.
Well, yeah, she was like, because up until then, like my first doctor was like, here's some like synthetic thyroid bullshit. I took it for 5 days. I felt awful, threw it in
Mm,
the toilet.
mm,
And then for a year and a half, I was like, well, there's got to be something I can do. You
right.
know, found her little butt. I was like, okay, well, I just want a body like that. And we started talking, and she's like, have you ever had your stool checked? And I was like, no. She's like, literally, that's the root cause of autoimmune is in the gut. So she sold me right away. I was like, well, listen, she obviously knows what the fuck she's doing. And she saved my life after
Is
that.
she's a practicer of functional medicine, we should say.
She is a functional medicine practitioner, functional nutritionist who also struggled with her own. I think she had SIBO and she had some other like intestinal problems, and the doctors told her she would have to have her whole, I think like upper some intestines removed, and she was like fuck
Wow.
that. And that's what propelled her to figure out an alternative way to heal, and she did.
So you get it diagnosed, and what do you start doing?
With her,
Yeah.
very simple. You eliminate the shit food, processed foods, seed oils, gluten, dairy, sugar, alcohol out of the system. Gluten is inflammatory for everybody, but specifically dangerous for autoimmune and like celiac disease type shit. Um, she put me on a gut protocol, which was like 3 or 4 all natural supplements to help my liver clean out the gut. started weight training. So, like, no cardio, just weightlifting, building muscle mass. And within within a month, I already felt better, but within 6 months, I had lost like 25 pounds and reversed my Hashimoto's.
Completely.
Not completely. So, like, a normal range of antibodies is 30. Mine were at 400 when I started. I brought them down to 139. Yeah.
Incredible. So
Yeah.
those are your big thing. It's dairy, it's gluten, it's alcohol, it's seed oils
Sugar.
and sugar.
Yeah. I had a lady comment this morning like, "Oh, it's not like one Oreo is gonna destroy your diet." It's not about my diet. It's not about, "Oh, it's gonna destroy my progress." It's like, I will not allow poison in my body anymore.
Mm,
Like, once you know, what are you doing still drinking Coca-Cola and energy drinks and eating things like Oreos and Twinkies and chips? And maybe that's the thing, is people don't know what's in there, but I'm here to let you know that it's poison, and that
mm.
shit doesn't get to come in here. No.
Without exception.
No, except there are like those things, no. Like, things I'll make an exception on is like real fucking like custard. Is that what it's like, ice cream? Like actually homemade pies or a homemade gluten-free cake. I stay away from gluten no matter what, because I'm not trying to awaken the beast that is Hashimoto's, okay?
Mm.
So there are things I make no exceptions on. I quit drinking completely June 15th of this year, so no more alcohol.
And you talk about your 90-10 rule where, 90% of the time you're doing well, 10%. I generally hear 80-20, but 90-10 is obviously more aggressive. But you go 100.
100, 100. So
Yeah.
I went to Europe in May, at the end of May, and I slacked big time. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm in Italy. I've wanted to come here since I was so young.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have wine, fucking cheese, gluten. I'm gonna eat real pizza and real pasta." And my Hashimoto's number shot up. My gut bacteria got fucked up. I also got my implants removed, and that shit like fucked up my body too. But after I allowed myself to do that in Europe, and seeing that, like, just because I had healed doesn't mean that all of a sudden now I should have these foods. Like, now I'm 100%. I'm gonna be 100% for like probably a good 6 months, and then I'll go back to my 90-10 situation.
So you're going to take a full 6 months to kind of recover from Europe.
And my surgery, yes.
Uh,
Yeah, it is what it is.
you know your body very well.
Yeah. I'm I've only been diagnosed for like what, 2.5 years. So I'm learning. I'm still learning, like, oh, just because I did reverse it and just because I lost weight doesn't mean that I can go off the rails. And I shouldn't go off the rails.
Mm. You're also an advocate of fish oil
Yeah.
because of the omegas, all those bad foods are putting in us. That negates it, correct?
Omega 6s
Yeah.
is literally like 70% of the standard American diet. That's what you find in the seed oils. That's what you find in fried food. That's what you find in Oreos. That's all. It's very inflammatory to the body. So it's putting your body in a chronic inflammatory state. Omega 3s are anti inflammatory, but they're found in things like avocado, salmon, which people aren't eating that much of. So, yes, let's add some of those foods and then also take a fish oil to bring the omega 6 levels down and up the omega 3s. They also break the gut brain barrier, and they get in here and help with depression and anxiety as well.
Mm. And you prefer it in a spoon, like drinking it
Yeah, liquid form, it just
liquid.
gets absorbed in the body better, and it doesn't give you the fish burps.
Yeah. Also, magnesium you want to take in the evening as well. You recommend.
Well, it depends, yes, but There's two types of magnesium, citrate and glycinate. Citrate helps with pooping, glycinate helps with sleeping. So you got to know which one you're taking.
Mm. And you're a big advocate, of course, of 2 hours, no television before you sleep, 7 to 10 hours of sleep for women.
Yep. It's you can't just leave it up. Like look, the sad thing is you spend your fucking like teens and 20s just and I was not a partier, but I would go to sleep whenever I wanted, 11, 12, wake up at 11 the next day. I always got really good sleep, which I feel like is why I still look pretty young. But
Mm.
when you get to a certain age, and I think this should just be really for women of any age, you got to start being intentional with your health and your sleep and your self-care and your diet and your exercise. It should just be like part of our culture, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
No, because somebody would stop making a lot of money.
That's right. It always comes down to money, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible. You talk about the life of when you were younger, dancing, it's very tough. You're up late, you don't know where your next gig is, you're kind of hustling, and we're never really taught how to eat.
Mm-mm.
So we have to kind of learn it the hard way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there is really no real education on nutrition. There is, but it's also very contradictory. Like, don't eat vegetables,
Yeah.
you know? Don't eat this, don't eat that. And it's confusing. It's very confusing. And if you grew up in a house where you kind of ate whatever, and we did at my house. My lunches were like crackers and cheese, and I love my mom for always making my lunch. Like, how nice of her. Ham and cheese sandwich with like those little packaged brownie snacks for
Mm,
dessert.
mm.
Those like what were those juices called?
Uh,
Sunny, not
Sunny D? No.
Sunny D, like the bags.
Yeah, the aluminum, like the silver. I know what you mean, but full of sugar.
Full of sugar. Like my whole life, my mom had a sweet tooth, so we had cookies, ice cream, M&Ms, Doritos. Like that's what we were eating. And I was this big, lucky me, but I had no education or knowledge of what that was doing internally.
One of your posts, you have tips for just better sleep. Take a cold shower before bed and lower body temperature.
Yeah. So if you go back to like caveman days, that it was cold.
Mm.
Our bodies like pitch black and cold. So like between 65 and 68 degrees in the room. So if you have trouble sleeping, make sure the room is cool, but also take a cold shower. First of all, cold showers have like insane benefits for
Oh,
the immune system. They burn brown fat. They're anti-aging. Plus, they'll bring down your body temperature and help you sleep better.
that's a couple of your Instagram posts. You're actually taking the bath, the cold water bath there
Yeah, the cold one.
outside.
Mm-hmm.
Cold plunge. Yeah. How often do you do that?
Um, I try to do like 3 to 4 times a week for 5 minutes at a time.
5 minutes. What temperature?
45.
Ah. You see the benefits, Claude?
Oh yeah, and it's here too.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. Now, like I said, my body is it's finding its way back right now. So I wanted it to like be so thankful that the implants were gone, and I
Mm.
felt like it was gonna bounce back and be like, "Thank you, Claude." But it's more like, "What the fuck? Where did those things go? I'm used to having them in there," and it's kind of like confused. So the cold plunge, maybe I don't see like the fat loss going away quite as fast as I want, but mentally, every time I get out, I'm like rejuvenated with energy and I feel like a fucking badass because who sits in a 45-degree cold plunge for 5 minutes?
Hmm. Hmm. You do.
I do. And it feels good. It feels so good. I'm like proud of myself. Like, hell yeah, I did that again.
You mentioned removing the implants a couple times. Why? Why? Talk to me about that.
So I had them for 18 years. I got them when I was 23. When I lived in Vegas, I did a show at Caesar's Palace called Pussycat Dolls, and it was all burlesque. And I would like tape my boobs. I was like, I had none, right? I was very athletic. I would wear like 3 push-up bras and still not have any cleavage. And at the time, it was just something that was important to me. So I got them done. I'm like, I just want boobs. Okay. I'm a woman. I should have boobs. This was my mindset. And then 18 years later, they always, like, my right one was always kind of annoying physically. And then they're a foreign object in your body. So
Mm,
the more I become health conscious and the more I am a representative of health, what the
mm,
fuck am I doing with these foreign bags in my body? And I felt like they were keeping my body kind of stuck.
hmm.
So I decided to get them out. And I mean, that when I got them in, it took me like 3 days and I was like driving to LA the next day. Like I was fine. The recovery for this was intense.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus my body was so clean and so healthy. And then I fucking like blasted it with anesthesia, antibiotics, pain meds, and it just kind of went, fuck, what are you doing to me?
You're better now from it though.
I'm better now from it. I'm definitely on the mend, like on the way up. Like I could feel my body like making that shift from suffering from the surgery to like, all right, now we're good. Let's
Hmm.
now build. I call it building Claude 3.0 because I already built Claude 2.0.
Hmm. How different is Claude 1 to 2.0?
Oh, well, listen,
Huh.
I not even the same person.
Huh.
Yeah. I went from just feeling sorry for myself,
Hmm.
escaping my problems and drinking and food and being depressed, making no money to like taking life by the motherfucking balls and becoming like damn near a millionaire in 2 years.
Hmm.
So I would say Claude 2.0 was like legit, is like legit. So now we're working on Claude 3.0. What's next level?
Hmm. I wonder what iteration I'm at. I have to think. Wear blue blocker glasses in the evening.
Yeah, it helps again with sleep. It helps with REM sleep specifically. I've become like a nerd about all this stuff because I couldn't sleep for a year after I had my son, so I had to figure something out. And it was like, whatever's gonna help me sleep, I'm doing it
Hmm. And you get 7 to 10 every night.
every night. Yeah, I
'Cause
mean
you go to bed at
sometimes,
9:30.
huh?
I'm sorry, you go to bed at 9:30.
Latest, like, yeah, not. I try to be in bed by 8:39. Wake up at 5:30. So yeah,
Even
sometimes
on Sunday.
even on Sun. I mean, my son wakes up at 6, whether I like it or not. So I gotta wake up with him. He's almost 4. Like the destruction that would happen in this house. Plus, he's at a stage where he's like scared to go in that room by himself. So there's no way he's going downstairs without mama or dada.
I say.
Yeah. So
Implement a wind down evening routine. Journal,
yeah,
read, stretch.
yeah. For women especially, like men, masculine. You guys are made to like go hunt and work and like you know what I mean? Your body and your system is designed to handle that kind of like stress and physicality. Women not so much. It's not that we can't do it. We just, again, we are the creators of life. We need to take care of our bodies in a certain way, you know? So, having that wind down moment for you to honor yourself, honor your spirit, your mind, your body, it doesn't have to be crazy. Just needs to be a moment where you're not tending to someone. where no one's talking to you and you have this inflow, just quiet peace to yourself. Like you gotta honor yourself at the beginning and end of each day.
Mm. Without the diagnosis and the, I was going to say tragedy, but just the difficulty of, childbirth and everything you went through, could you have known the potential of Claude 3.0?
Never.
Yeah.
Never. And I see it now as the biggest gift I could have ever been given,
Mm. Mm.
where when I was going through it, I was like, why is this happening to me? Like, why, Claude? What did I do to deserve this? Meanwhile, it was the biggest gift I was ever given because I had to rebuild. Like, I had to, I don't know, man. When you go through something like that, you have two ways to go. And there's no way I was going that other way.
Mm. Too much fight in you.
Too much fight. And when I started feeling, I started a direct sales company January of 2021 selling makeup and skincare. And I just needed something to do.
Mm.
I was at home. It was COVID. My freaking newborn. I was losing my fucking mind. I was like, I need something to put my attention on, a purpose.
Mm.
Somebody said women are born with already a purpose, which is to have kids, but that couldn't be further from the truth.
Mm.
Not every woman's purpose in life is to procreate and raise children. I am one of those women where, yes, I enjoy that and I needed that, but my purpose is way bigger than that. I needed to connect with people. So I started doing this shit. And I just went online one day. I was like, I started a direct sales company because I'm suicidal. And if I don't do something, this shit's not going to end very well. I have postpartum. And all these women were like, they resonated. They're like, oh my God, me too, me too, me too. And I thought, wow, this connection is amazing. So every day now I was waking up with a purpose and intention to show up for women who needed to hear my truth. I was like, dance is very selfish. Like, I gotta show up for me. Pick me. I have the best body. I'm the best dancer. Look at me. And then all of a sudden, I had this shift of like, fuck, I'm using my social media. Who gives a fuck about me? There's women out there who need me to show up for them.
Mm.
And that helped me, Joey. Like, I started to feel less and less suicidal and less
Wow.
depressed. And I came out of it. And after feeling, I was so grateful to still be alive. I was so grateful to not be ridden with anxiety and possessed by that motherfucking demon, and so happy to be happy again. That, like, at that point, things look a lot different.
Mm.
People start complaining about dumb shit around you and you're like, I don't have fucking time for you to
Mm.
complain about how your plates, somebody broke a plate. Bitch, you're healthy. Who gives a fuck that my toddler broke your plate? Or who gives a shit that, like, I mean, it just, this light came on and I was like, man, people worry about the dumbest shit and I don't have time to worry about this. I'm just so happy to be alive. And that energy just prompted me to like do more and more and serve more and be more and be like, oh, that gratitude takes over you and you're like, I ain't wasting a fucking minute.
It's amazing to me how, tragedy happens and then some of us that are strong can rise from it and then just push all the noise away. And, you think that's bad. I couldn't get out of bed. I was, I was here. My watermark is a lot higher, and don't come to me with that small stuff. I've had some tragedy in my life as well. And I just think at least it's not that bad. I'm healthy. My daughters are healthy. You have a beautiful son. You have a great husband. Everybody's healthy. I mean, you have so much to be grateful for.
Yeah. Exactly. And so, like, the small things that used to keep you down, the
Yeah.
small things that kept me before from going into action on certain things, like fear or this or that, it all went away. I'm like, I don't have any time to waste.
Mm.
I have to live life. My life, I shouldn't say it like this. It felt like it was taken from me, right?
Mm.
It wasn't, but in those moments, it was like I had no control over anything. So once I found that control back, I'm not holding back now. Like, I was propelled into full forward movement, like live and help women. I didn't know how to do that before, Joey. I couldn't connect with anybody's pain. I had an easy life. Pain is what connects us. So somebody would come to me and be like, "Well, I have anxiety." Okay. I don't know what that's like. How can I help somebody with anxiety? Now I'm like, "Oh, I know what that bitch is like."
Mm. Because you've been there and you helped yourself.
Because I've been there and I got myself out.
Yeah.
A lot of people are angry with me at my delivery, and I get it.
Why?
Um it's honest, it's brutal, it's the harsh truth. It cuts right to the core of what it is, and people will be like, "Could you imagine someone talking to you like that when you were depressed?" I go, I fucking wish somebody would
Yeah,
have
me
looked
too.
at me in my
Me
face
too.
and said, "Claude, get your fucking ass up and quit feeling sorry for yourself and give me tools. Like, go work out and stop eating that shit and put the fucking wine down." But no, instead, everybody was like, "You're a new mom, Claude. Here, drink your wine, have the chocolate cake, eat that shit. You don't have to work out. You're stressed." I'm not here to placate people, because you
Mm.
know what that did? That made me worse. If I had just gotten my ass up and stopped feeling sorry for myself, I probably wouldn't have had been diagnosed with Hashimoto's. Because
Mm.
after I had my son, I started losing the baby weight. Like, I was almost right back down to where I was before my son. And then the depression set in, and the anxiety and the eating and the drinking. And then I was a puffy marshmallow with Hashimoto's. It's scary to tell people what's up for real,
Mm.
but I don't care. I'm not here to keep you where you're at.
Mm.
Somebody needed to really shake me at that time. So that's who I am now for people. I am your shaker.
Yeah, there's a bit of our culture has become this coddling kind of thing where everything's acceptable, and it gets a little frustrating.
Yeah, everybody's a winner.
Yeah.
Everybody's first place. Everybody is. And it's interesting how we are forced to adapt to that instead of getting those people to get out of that lower state of being. We are forced to accept and coddle and adapt and not fat shame. Fat shame? Like, how is that even a thing? Because I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure you are allowed to tell me that I'm skinny. And it's not even like about being fat that's shameful. It's the habits that are keeping you and got you there that you need to stop. People don't want to hear that.
Yeah, I have a sports background, so I was very used to my coaches yelling at me, and I liked it, and it motivated me, and "Get your fat ass over here," that was something that they would say, and it motivated me. I guess some people can't handle that, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm the same. Dance is not I got good at dancing because my teachers, like, told me where I was lacking. They said,
Mm.
"No, you're not good enough to be in that piece. No, you're not ready to move up to the next company level." I wanted to quit one time, and my mom was like, "You're not quitting because you're not in the front of the number." Okay,
Hmm.
going. But like, had I just been told I was good all the time, I would have probably sucked.
Mm. So Claude, I started my business in the 90s. I'm a little bit older than you. Actually, I'm a lot older than you. And I was not paying attention to my diet, and I was working 14-hour days, and I stopped working out. I stopped playing soccer and tennis. I got myself up to 340 pounds, right? And I didn't even barely knew I was a 46-inch waist. I
Yeah.
had the doctor said, if you don't lose, I still have it to this day. My daughter was just born. If you don't lose the weight, you're never going to see her graduate. And just like you said, I remember driving away and thinking, I fucking put myself here. Nobody forced me to eat McDonald's at night and drink all the sodas and pizzas all day. Nobody did that. I did it. So for the next 7 months, 6, 7 months, I lost about 130 pounds. And people always ask me how I did it. Like there's some freaking secret. And it's a word that you bring up very often in your interviews. And we haven't yet today. And my quick answer as to how I lost the weight is discipline. That's it. People ask me how, like I'm going to give them some secret, like, change your shoe size or something. The answer is discipline. And by the way, once you get to that weight, it's not a finish line. It's not like, okay, it's over. I can go back to the way I was. You got to make a complete change, which you advocate. You're changing the way you do things. So, talk to me about how discipline plays a role in your life at 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0.
Oh man. Well, as at 1.0, that was my dancer self, that was pre-baby self. My discipline was training.
Mm,
I I wouldn't book the jobs if I didn't get disciplined in training in dance every single day, making sure I was dancing the way I needed to dance and learning the new shit and keeping my technique sharp, and also discipline in my body, although that did look a little different when I was younger. So I would say I was like 60% disciplined as a dancer.
mm,
Now, when I had my son, what I realized what I was doing through the postpartum was doing shit when I didn't feel like it.
mm,
Where
mm,
before my discipline was based on like, do I feel like it? Yeah. Like I know I need to go take ballet. Sometimes I wouldn't feel like it and I wouldn't go. Okay. After having my son, I didn't have a choice. So I was doing everything every day for him, even though I would rather die. That built this mentality for me of like, aha, there's nothing I can't do now. And then I had a mentor say, you want to do the shit that you know you're supposed to when you least feel like it. I go, oh, cool. I already did that for like an entire year after having my son. And then I started implementing that with my everyday life workouts, my wake up time. And I knew that as I saw my health improve with that, then I just kept doing it. And also, Joey, my discipline reflects my business. So if I want to thrive and grow and help more women, the more disciplined I get, the more able I am to do that.
mm.
Any goal requires discipline. Any goal. Like, but that's that intentional shit I was talking about earlier. People have no intention. They're just waking up and they're like, la, 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 la. And then they blame something else for their situation. The beautiful thing is, it's literally all in your control.
Mm. 100% your control.
100%. You are stronger than any fucking genetic problem. First of all, diseases 30% genetic, 70% something else. something else, your shit that you're doing.
Mm.
You're stronger than any disease, any trauma you've experienced. Well, I get this a lot. You don't know what they're going through, Claude. I don't give a fuck. Because if I sit there and I feel sorry for you for what you're going through, I can't help you out of it.
Mm.
I can only help you see that you are so much stronger than the shit you think is controlling you.
Mm.
People think like, oh, I've gone through this and I did this and my parents did that. Cool. We all have suffered. Varying degrees, yes, but we've all suffered. And are you still going to feel sorry for yourself and be a victim? Or are you going to look that bitch in the face and be like, I'm going to kill you?
Mm.
And I do get aggressive like that because I think some things in life, you need that intention of
Mm.
like, no, you're not going to win this fight.
I think that's a difference between a therapist and a coach. The therapist, they can go back, talk about your trauma, maybe deal with it. But as a coach, we're looking forward, people. What are you going to do now? And what are we going to do to get better?
Yeah. Yeah. And what does going back and dealing with it, anyways? Like, if you really think about it, the significance your childhood trauma has on you is only there because you put it there.
Mm.
Because I can look at it and be like, yo, that was fucked up what my parents did. Or I am this way because whatever. All I know is anything that is not happy, light, positive, creative is not me. Somebody else put those insecure thoughts there. Somebody else put that fear there. I wasn't fucking born like that. So my job every day, my responsibility is to create the best version of me through discipline, through treating my body with the utmost respect to fight against those things I didn't put there and rebuild the Claude that I want to be. To me, it's really that easy. Like, drop the stories already. And everybody thinks they're special. Oh, but Claude, you don't understand. Like, I was molested. Okay. But what if you stop going, I was molested? And you just go, I was molested. And that made me a fucking gangster. Just flip the script in here. There are horrible things that people have gone through. Horrible. But none of it is stronger than their capability to just be whatever the fuck they want to be. None of it. I refuse to give it any power.
The way your body, the way my body rewards me after a workout
Mm-hmm.
is one of the best feelings in the world because your body is thanking you for what you just did. And you are in very much control of that feeling and what you can output.
Yeah. And a workout also it puts you into action. It gets you to do something objective with physical with the body. It gets you out of here.
Mm.
Everyone's like in the mind, in the mind. Get out of there and do something physical with your body every day. Like one of my clients was like, I have a lot of Christian clients, I believe in God as well. And she was like, I have a hard time just showing up and doing the workout. And I was like, this is your way every day to like go to do you get upset to have to go to church every Sunday or like, fuck, I don't want to go? I think most people want to go and get that. What if that's what they do? So go to fucking church every day and go work out and honor God through your body. And you know what, Joey? Like maybe you don't always feel amazing after a workout. Women have like periods during the month where working out doesn't feel as amazing and you don't get that same benefit.
Mm.
But I don't care. I know I'm supposed to do this workout and it may not feel like this today, but that habit will compound over time. You'll be like, man, I didn't miss a single day for the last year. I didn't give in to a single like moment of wanting to quit. What do you think you're going to feel like after a year of not missing,
Mm.
a fucking powerhouse. Like a year of no excuses, you're going to feel like a badass. And don't wait until you get some weird diagnosis to kick that in.
Mm. Like what you said about discipline and goal setting. Takes discipline to actually create the goals and then to execute them and complete them.
It takes belief to create the goal.
Mm.
You have to believe in yourself. And how do you get that belief, that trust in yourself? By not missing, by saying, I'm going to work out every day, not every day. Ladies, 5 days a week is plenty. 5 days a week for the next 6 months. And then you don't go back on your word. You start to trust yourself a little bit. I'm not going to drink. Start small, 30 days. Wow, I did that. I trust myself. I kept my fucking word.
Mm.
Now you've got this belief in you and what you're actually able to do. That's also like the cold plunge. Like, show yourself who you are, who you want to be, gain some confidence. People are like, I'm so insecure. Uh huh. Because you lie to yourself all the time. You disrespect yourself all the time. You don't keep your word. You break your promises. Of course, you're insecure. So gain some of that. Now you're setting this goal for whatever, and you're like, I believe I'm going to get there because look what I did for the last 6 months. Now you need the discipline to put that goal in motion. But you got to start somewhere. And that's why for me, it's like food and exercise is where it starts. It's where discipline starts.
Mm.
If you can't be cause over what goes in your mouth, if you can't be cause over moving your body every day, what makes you think you can be cause over anything else? Your kids, your relationships, your work. You can't.
What motivates you, Claude?
What motivates me? Well, my son is a massive motivator for me to create the best life possible for him. And just the suffering. Yes, the for all people, but specifically that like moms and women go through, and they just don't know how to get out of it. Like I want to show all women what's possible and that the only thing standing in their way is just themselves.
I heard you say that we're not different from each other. You can do it, anybody can do it.
Mhm. We're all human. We're all made up of the same shit.
Mm.
Body, mind, spirit. We all have different experiences. Yes. But we're all the same. But people, Joey, they overcomplicate things. I'm talking like doctors and even like a lot of trainers. It's really not that
It's not.
complicated.
It's not.
It's almost like people can't accept the simplicity of it sometimes. Oh no, that's not going to work. Oh no, no. It's the only thing that works. Like I had a client just come off of 11 medications.
Wow.
11. Why was she on 11 medications to begin with? But with nutrition, I've had a client get rid of all MS symptoms, Crohn's disease symptoms, high blood pressure with just nutrition and exercise. How much more simple do you want it? Ozempic?
Mm.
Good luck. Good luck with that.
Nutrition, exercise, sleep.
And stress management.
Mm.
Hence the morning routine, the night routine, going to bed at a certain time, getting 7 hours of sleep. We're all reducing stress. But again, like I learned that after going through what I went through was I'm not letting things stress me out. I almost died. I don't give a fuck about much. You know?
How do you measure success?
Ah, this question. I measure success by me being able to wake up in the morning and look forward to my day
Mm.
and be excited to get out of my bed. That's success. Waking up and being like, "Woo, let's go." As opposed to ugh. I mean, there's no worse feeling than that.
That's misery. That's miserable.
Yeah. Mhm.
What's the perfect candidate to work with you? Describe her.
Her. Well, she is willing.
Mm.
She is determined. She has no excuses. She knows that investing in herself is the only way to get herself out of her current situation. She shows up. She's all in. She can handle the truth,
Mm.
even if it hurts at first. Not only can she handle it, she craves it. Like my clients are like, Claude, I need this kick in the ass. Like, give it to me straight.
You're more than willing to help that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's what gets you up in the morning.
It's what gets me up in the morning. Like I always tell my glow getters is what they're called. It's like, I don't even work out for myself anymore. I
Mm.
get up and I show on my Instagram that I'm up between 5 and 6 every morning. I mean, I get to my bathroom sometimes it's like 5:55, I want them to see that like I'm in it. I'm here for you. I'm showing you like this is how you my responsibility is to create this life so that people can see what's possible and I can inspire women to do the same, to want better for themselves.
Do you work with men at all?
Not really. No, my husband is a coach, so like if men come to me, I'll be like, "Go see Noah. He knows how to get you jacked."
Yeah, he is jacked. And he's a former actor, I believe, right? He does a great job with those roles in Instagram, that's for sure.
Oh, God bless him for being like down to do that. We actually met dancing. He's also a retired professional dancer, and he was an actor as well. And then COVID hit, and it just like,
Decimated everything, right?
yeah. And thank God, because the industry right now,
Yeah. Nothing you want to go back to.
never.
Don't miss it.
Never wanted to look back. Once I started direct sales, I was like, this is nice. Love this for me. Working from home. Nova's right there. I could take a break when I want, travel when I want. Nobody's telling me what the fuck to do, how to act. Like, when you book jobs with certain celebrities, like you have to act a certain way. I hated that. I just want to be
Mm.
myself. I don't give a fuck who you are. make sure that you don't look this person in the eye, or like don't stand too close, or like be too loud. Fuck you. Like I was so the only time I really loved my dance career, honestly, Joey, was when I was actually performing
Uh,
on stage and, connecting with people. I always felt my purpose was to like take people and help them forget about their problems while I'm on stage. That's what entertainment is, right? Like take me to a different world. So I would just take my viewers, my audience, even as a dancer, like I don't care who I was behind. I'm like, let's go. Let's leave planet Earth and our problems behind. That was like the coolest part about dancing.
and that was 5% of the time, 10% of the time?
Yeah, maybe like 20, Everything else is auditions, which are just horrible.
Humiliating, right?
Humiliating, scary. A lot of people don't respect us, so you're just like there for 12 hours. Nobody gives a fuck about your time.
Wow.
Like even when you get hired to do stuff, the way you're treated sometimes is insane. And I was always the bitch on a job that would be like, I'm not going back out there until you feed me. Like, or I would be calling the agent, like, they don't even have water for us. Like, no.
Wow.
Yeah. And the pay, nobody wants to pay dancers. They think we do it for fun. It's going to be fun. I don't give a fuck. I've been training my whole life in order to make it look fun. You're going to pay me for that. you know? So once I did direct sales, it was like way more in my control. Everything was. It was like my
Mm,
business.
mm.
I could run it how I want. Even more now with my coaching, it's like I'm not under anyone. This is my business. I do have to like learn how to be a leader now though, which is interesting.
You're an entrepreneur now.
That's right. And I have people who work for me, and
Right.
I have to learn how to lead them, how to train them, where as a
Delegate.
delegate and handle problems.
Yes.
Their like as a dancer, it was me. I have to worry about me. I have to keep my body looking a certain way. I have to get my headshot, show up to the audition. That's it. I don't have to depend on anyone else.
Mm.
Now I can't run this business by myself. I depend on other people to help Glow Up with Claude run. And so that's a whole other level of leadership, which I love learning, but it is challenging sometimes. Personalities and things,
Yes. Egos.
egos, but I've got a great crew.
But Claude 3.0, you're living your best life.
Best. I mean, I already am, I'm already living my best life. I just hired a new business coach, like the best there is, the most expensive one there is. And I am excited to get to that next level of being able to impact more women.
I mean, that's it right there. Impact is what you get up for the morning for, right? It's impact.
Impact. Yeah, impact. That's it. Just yeah. It can be hard to like stay believing in what you're doing is making a difference. You know what I mean? Like, nobody watched my reel today. Nobody cares about what I said. But every day there's someone who's like, this is exactly what I needed to hear. And as long as there's one person who needed to hear what I had to say that day, I'm just going to keep running my mouth. And everybody needs people. I think about the people who impacted my life,
Mm.
and I can be that for somebody else. How dare I not?
That's what makes a remarkable person right there. That's what makes a remarkable person, in my opinion. You helped yourself and you live your life. But no, you not only helped yourself, you turn it around and you're helping others. That's what makes a remarkable person. Claude Racine, I was so excited when you accepted this. You get me going. You energize me, and I want you to keep it up. Anybody's listening, how can we get in touch with you?
The best way to get in touch with me is to follow me on Instagram at Glow Up with Claude. That's my main hub. That's where I post all the new things happening. That's where you can DM me for coaching, or for anything really. I mean, y'all, my favorite thing to do is to connect with my people on Instagram.
Glow Up with Claude. Claude.
Correct.
Yes. And we'll make sure we put it in the show notes. I thank you so much for your time. If
Thank
I'm
you.
ever in your area, perhaps you, your husband, and I, we can get a. Now, do you drink coffee?
Yeah, we drink coffee.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
trust me, I know. But we do. We love coffee. Where do you live?
I'm in the Northeast. I'm in New Haven.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 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 I've never had a cup of coffee my whole life, believe it or not. I don't know yeah.
Oh, so you don't drink coffee?
I don't, but I always just say, let's have a cup of coffee just as a, just as a get together kind of thing. Maybe I'll have
Is
tea
that
or
like
something.
taste? You don't like the taste, or well, you've
You
never had
know,
it, so
I don't really care. It smells great, but I saw my mother get off it when I was young, and she was mean for about 6 weeks. And I think it just kind of, I think it just impacted me, Claude. And so and I'm 55 years old at this point. Why start putting caffeine into my life, right? I don't.
yeah, if listen, there's no nutritional value, like, you need
Yeah.
to start this.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
why start?
good
So that's the
for
way I
you.
look at it. Yeah, I guess
Drink
so. I
alcohol?
guess so. I do, not often, but I do though. That's yeah, I know you don't touch it. Yeah, but I do.
It's a brand new thing for me, like, I need everybody to I don't judge anybody. I don't judge
Right.
you if you're fat. I don't judge you if you drink. I don't care. I'm just here to, like, if I resonate with you to want to create better for yourself, I wanna help you. Like, I'm
Mm,
proud of anybody doing the work, whether
absolutely.
you're fat or not.
90-10.
90-10. Throw the 80-20 away, because that really turns out 40-60.
It
Everybody
does.
knows it.
It does. It does. So 90-10 actually ends up being 80-20, whereas 80-20 ends up being 64. Yeah, right, right. I understand. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Joey. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
You be well.
You too.
Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pinz Disciple Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypins.com. There you'll find lots of resources and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Would you like to financially support the podcast? You can go to our Patreon site. Consider $5, $10, or $20 a month. There's all kind of plans that we have there. There's like a one-time payment. What is this podcast episode worth to you? $25, $50, $100, $500, $1,000, $5,000. You be the judge. You can go to our PayPal account to do that as well. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pinz Disciple Conversations.